What do you want? Oh my gosh. That's like where we're at right now. It's towards the end of the year. If you're seeing this, it's in October, I'm filming it, and we're looking at business planning. And so much of our coaching calls are around, what do you guys want your future to look like? What do you want? Like, it's so crazy because I think so many people cannot identify their why and what do they want, which is an outcome, an end result. And it is kind of the most important thing is to start with the end in mind. And I know you have heard this from many different places. I read this in almost every single one of my personal growth books and business books, is to figure out what is the result you want so that you can go back and get there, right? When you're in a career path, what do you want to get to? And I think we get in the habit of saying that over and over and over again, and people get blocked. I don't know if you get blocked. I get so blocked. And I even went into this crazy space of like blocking where I was meditating and I couldn't even see the future anymore because I just felt so blocked of like, what do I want? And just, it freaks you out, right? Are you that person? Because if you are, you're in good company, because I'm going to tell you something. I have a solution for you. And it's something that just clicked all of a sudden. And I was like, oh my God, how did I not think of this before? And in this whole personal growth journey I've been on and doing the Tony Robbins classes and sessions and seminars and reading constantly and being in accountability groups and masterminds and doing real estate coaching with Tom Ferry and being a coach, all the stuff that I do to try to grow myself, it literally just hit me of why I can't figure out why people have this hardest time figure out what they want really and being able to paint that clear picture. And the reason is it comes back to identity. I know it sounds like a really weird word, but we all as human beings will fight to stay in the identity that we see ourselves in. And what I mean by this, and this is something that I learned in a lot of the readings I've done with Tony Robbins and all the different things that have basically reinforced this over and over again, but I don't know why we sit there and we try, it's like we're doing it backwards basically. And what I realized this whole week in all of my coaching calls, I've been getting everyone to this, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off, is that instead of figuring out what you want, figure out who are you? Meaning like, what identity do you have? Because what we do now is that we may go ahead and figure out what we want and make that big business plan, make that 10-year, I'm going to do this, 5-year, 1-year plan, and laundry list. I'm going to have this much money in the bank, or I'm going to do this many deals in real estate, or I'm going to buy these many companies, or I'm going to be married, or have this many kids. Like, so many plans we make, and we'll laundry list them all. But how many of you guys are out there and you have this amazing list of what you want, and it's pretty juicy and you want it, and then all of a sudden you start doom scrolling on your phone, or you watch that extra episode of Netflix, or you don't go to the gym like you say you're going to go to, or you find yourself eating ice cream, or you just kind of almost in a weird way just sabotage yourself, like self-sabotage, the little doubt, the imposter. We talked about imposter in that last video, but kind of creeps in and kind of second guesses what you're capable of. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because like, honestly, I think we all have that self-sabotage. And then you're like, well, I thought I wanted that, but it maybe not. And the problem does not lie in the fact that it is not that you don't want it. The problem is that your identity, who you are, who you see yourself, the lens of yourself in, is not in alignment with what you say you want. So let's back it up, okay? And I know it sounds crazy, but I did this exercise. It's a lot of fun, actually. So if you're someone that likes to dream and likes to be creative, and for those of you that don't want to write it out, I get it. Do a voice note, a memo, or type it on your computer. But just spend an hour at least. Listen to your favorite music. Go in a quiet space. Go somewhere where the kids aren't going to come in, the dogs aren't barking, because it will distract you, because you kind of really need to be in a place where you can kind of think and close your eyes and think like, who am I? And I want you to write this out. Who are you 3.0 version? Because right now, today, this is 2.0 Alicia, right? I'm making this video, I'm doing the content. This is my 2.0. I can't even believe I'm doing this, because for the longest time, it was on my list and I kept giving me every excuse. Well, I don't have the camera, and I don't have the videographer, and I don't have the lighting, and I don't know how to upload and edit and make the thumbnails. And those were just logistical things that I was giving myself excuses because I didn't see the identity of me doing this, right? So honestly, who are you 3.0? You can make an avatar name, like if you have a nickname, or like your stage name, or the name that you see yourself in as something amazing, like putting your Superman glasses on, like the super version of you, or the superhero version of you 3.0. Who is that person? And when you write it out, don't just say like, oh, I'm fabulous and I do this and I do that. Really be thoughtful about, what do you look like? What is your hair like? What do you dress like? What clothing clothing do you wear every day? Who do you hang out with? What is your relationship like? Are you married? Are you not married? Do you have a beautiful relationship with your spouse, your loved one? Do you have kids? Do you have a beautiful relationship with them? What is it like? Like, what does it feel like every day when you wake up in the morning? What is your mindset like? What do you read? Like, what do you consume? Content-wise, what do you read? What do you listen to? What do you think about? Who do you hang out with? What are you masterminding with? What vacations do you go on? I mean, you can kind of go really, really granular. And I actually recommend you go so deep that you can kind of taste it, feel it, embody it, know it. Like, this is the version of you. Like, this is who you are, your next identity, your next version of you. Who are you? What are you driving? When do you get up in the morning? What does your morning routine look like? Do you even have one? What is your evening routine like? Do you work 7 days a week? Do you take 3 days a week off? I'm just putting things out there because I think it's really interesting that so many people cannot verbalize or even think about who they legitimately are in that future version. They may get little glimpses. This is what I noticed from some of my coaching clients, that they'll tell me like, oh, I know that I want to have a kid in 5 years, or I know I want to buy a house and I want to live in that neighborhood, or I know we're going to travel to Spain or Europe. They're like little glimpses. Those are glimpses of an identity that you want, but that's not really a real identity. So that's why I say to you, write it out, craft it, curate exactly who you are at 3.0. Because right now you're at 2.0. So it could be 5 years from now, it could be a year from now, it could be 10 years, but who is this amazing next version of you, next chapter of you? What are they like? Are they like super cool to be around? What's their energy like? What's their vibration like? I'd even challenge you, like, do you go to church? Are you spiritual in any way? Do you go and work on yourself? Did you pick up a new hobby? Are you skilled at something? Are you writing that book? Like, all of those things I want you to think about, because it's not just I look like this, or I have that car, or we go on these vacations, I have this much money in the bank. I challenge you to write all that too. Yes, in addition to that, but go so deep that you can feel the emotion in you when you're reading it out loud. And when you're done with that, mine was like 10 pages long. It was crazy. And one of these days I'll have the balls to read that version to you, because maybe it'll be me. And then when you're done with that, set it aside and take a break, and then come back and then really look at, who are you today? Take an audit, a life audit. Who is the 2.0? Who is the current version of yourself? So I would write, the current version of Alicia is, this is what my morning routine looks like. This is what my mindset's like. This is what my relationships are like. This is what my bank account looks like. This is what I do day to day. This is what my thoughts are like. This is where I vacation or don't vacation. This is where I'm doing things that I say I'm not going to do, and vice versa. Like, it's more about not beating yourself up. I think it's really important, because I have some clients that are really hard on themselves. And I know I've done videos about loving yourself more and caring for yourself. So I don't want you to think about this audit as punishing yourself or reprimanding yourself. It's just what it is. It is not better or not worse. It's an audit. What is going on to date, and be truthful for yourself. You don't have to share this with anybody unless you want to, but honestly, who are you today? And then, this is even better, look at the two together side by side. Because now you have 3.0 identity, this amazing, fabulous version of yourself that you can taste, feel, embody, and just feel that emotion. Because think about it, everything in your head is knowledge, right? Everything we read and consume. That's why that whole concept of getting ready to get ready happens, because you're consuming and you have all this knowledge in your head. But yet we don't take that knowledge and throw it into emotion and feeling, which then makes us feel like we're embodying it and willing to execute, which is the physiology, which we learned from Tony Robbins, is that it's all together, right? It's the mind, body, spirit, and you have to have the body piece. You have to execute and do. Otherwise, all that stuff just stays in your head and it becomes like a story. So my whole thing is this, is that if you have 3.0 version of you that you can just taste it, feel it, it's just so delicious, this amazing life that you have crafted for yourself in every aspect of your life, your whole life wheel we talked about, right? Personal life, financial life, spiritual life, your contribution, celebration life, relationship life, hobbies and things that you love to do life, career, all of that. Think about all of the things in your life and how, if you could be the best version of yourself, or the version that you always dreamed to be, what would that identity look like? That's 3.0. So you have that laid out, and then you have the true audit of who you are today. Side by side comparison. You may be surprised to see that there are some things today that are already happening in your 3.0, meaning maybe you're getting some glimpses, maybe you're doing some of those things already, right? They're just not happening at its fullest. It's like the budding of the plant. It's not fully bloomed, but the seeds are there and they're coming and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I was already implementing some of these things. It's just at the baby infancy stage of it, right? It's gonna grow to that eventually. So it's really, really cool because it allows you to see where you are now and where you wanna go. And after you do that exercise, you then can see the gap. You can then see what you need to do and really have an honest look with yourself deep inside to say, am I willing to make the changes needed to be done to really be that identity that I see myself in? Because what's happening is your fear of uncertainty and your fear of not having that control of knowing who you're going to be is making you sabotage yourself from that what you want list that you really talked about at the beginning of the video. So after you do your identity 3.0 and then who you are today, audit, then go back and figure out, what do you want? If you were this identity and you embodied it every single day, what do you want? What does life look like 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? What does it look like, right? Then you can write probably so much freer and easier and it be so much more accurate and not so far away from you, because if you're in that identity and this is what you want, it will match up. It's pretty cool. So that's something I challenge you to do. I think it's an incredible exercise. I've already seen amazing results from it being done and light bulbs go off for a lot of my coaching clients. So I challenge you to do that. And I would love to know in the comments below if you've done anything like that before, if you've done your 3.0 version of yourself and your audit, what did you figure out about yourself? And I'd love for you to share if you've executed this and come up with amazing life plans to move yourself forward in your business, whether you do real estate business or any other business, or just if you're a stay-at-home mom watching this and you just want a different life for yourself. If you want to have a glow up and change your life, go for it. But you really got to figure out who you are, the 3.0, the identity, before you can get that done. I honestly tell you, because it is so true that we will always stay in alignment with our identity 100% of the time. Just like if you're a non-smoker, you're going to say, oh, I don't smoke, so I don't go over there. If you're not a drinker, oh, I don't drink, so I'm not going to go over there. Our identity, that's what I mean. So think about that when you're doing this exercise. And if you love this content, I hope you do. It's such a cool idea to like grow yourself. And I hope that you find alignment in it. I would love to know if you want any other topics covered. I'm just kind of going and exploring things that have happened to me in my life and helped me grow in this whole journey I've been in and sharing that. And I know those women that are out there are feeling the same way. Please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. I would love to connect with you and help you on this life journey that we're on together. Have a great night.